Dear students, in this session, we are going to look upon the advantages and disadvantages of e-commerce. The invention of faster and powerful internet connectivity has resulted in a new commerce arena called e-commerce. E-commerce is the buying and selling of goods and services on the internet and is one of the powerful online tools which can help business grow and glow all across the globe with a wide range of advantages, though it comes with certain disadvantages. By the end of this lesson, you will have an idea about e-commerce and its origin, major advantages and disadvantages of e-commerce, benefits of e-commerce to the society. Origin of e-commerce. Comprehending commerce in this century can get quite confusing. As the native dwellers of the blue planet, we have been here a long time, long in comparison to our somewhat short lifespan. To completely understand what e-commerce is, we should first start prodding around its roots. Rewinding back to the time where it all started will provide a better understanding of the advantages and disadvantages of e-commerce. Humankind commenced as a consumer of its own products. Be it hunting for food, gathering grains or making clothes, it was all done for only ourselves. Before any form of civilization came along, humankind had cared only for the most basic needs of food, clothing and shelter. This period is like the seed from which all commerce sprang, then a root in itself. What then is the origin of today's e-commerce? Here lies an age-old question to what came first, the egg or the chicken, or in our case, commerce or civilization. Perhaps it could be said that the history of commerce is also the history of civilization. It does not exactly give an answer, but it does shed some light on the chronologically darkest part of mankind. No single society was capable of producing everything it desired. As some needs were met, others arose with time. This fundamental principle is precisely what necessitated trade among each other. Egyptians, Phoenicians and Greeks count towards the first recorded to do so. If we fast forward a few thousand years ahead but still stay on the same planet, we will find that our needs and desires are being met globally. It was not only the start of all e-commerce business but also its grandest beauty. Meaning and concept of e-commerce. E-commerce can easily be explained in terms of mail. E-commerce is to commerce what email is to mail. So, the same way as email became a replacement for mail, e-commerce is slowly being replaced by its web counterpart e-commerce. It is an electronic enhancement and a modernized solution to an old-fashioned process. If commerce is a transaction of physically buying or selling goods, e-commerce is its electronic counterpart, buying or selling online. The traditional process of buying and selling has been modified using electronic improvisation and integrating it with sophistication to make it in line with the contemporary lifestyle. E-commerce has become growing at an unbelievable pace due to the convenience and ease that it provides to people for selling and buying. With the improvisation of technology and handheld devices, life has evolved for the better. Humanity is at a stage where the ease of shopping at fingertips is tearing it apart from the traditional business paradigm. The technology, infrastructure, internet and all other supporting aspects of the web are collaborating to make the online sale and purchase easier and simpler. Development experts are integrating innovation with technology at each step to ensure that the end users experience a seamless flow through the so-called e-commerce process. E-commerce embodies the spirit of convenience. Making deals has never been easy. Whatever your trade might be and whichever product comes from your labors, you now have the option, or more precisely the power, to exchange it with anyone and for almost anything worldwide from the comforts of your sofa. E-commerce is an indirect product of web development, the modern day craft. Developers create websites using formal computer languages, of which there are many sites used exclusively for online transactions. Now, let us see about e-commerce website. Knowing or understanding e-commerce and websites makes it easier to understand what an e-commerce site is. E-commerce websites are online portals that facilitate transaction of goods and services through means of the transfer of information and funds over the internet. In early days, e-commerce was done partially through emails and phone calls. Now, with a single website, anything and everything needed for transaction can be executed online. There are different e-commerce websites for every field. What truly separates them from the rest is its internal division based upon the types of business with which it deals. The most common type is retail selling, but there are many others too, like auction websites, business to business services, music portals, consultancy websites, finance management websites, etc. Traditional retail. Inch by a long inch, we are getting closer to a complete transformation of the traditional retail. We are eliminating the need to carry any cash at any given moment or even to pick up our groceries. In turn, we get more leisure time to spend with our loved ones, a good book, or even a walk in a park instead of the usual walk in a parking lot. In this lesson, we would first dismantle e-commerce and compare it to traditional retail afterwards. Advantages and disadvantages of e-commerce. There is an ancient saying that says that every coin has two sides, and e-commerce is no exception. Let us look at the best and the worst that e-commerce offers. Advantages of e-commerce can be discussed as follows. Connecting far and wide. Not such a long time ago, people used to travel great distances to meet both their needs and desires. They would make a journey to the Orient when in need of spices or silk, or travel abroad if the prices there were lower than their vicinity. Traveling to acquire goods was eliminated by the surge of e-commerce. E-commerce is global, that is, a whole lot of space which it covers. With the rise of the delivery drones, it is also becoming a lot more convenient than driving to a store, browsing merchandise, waiting in a line, buying a product, and driving all the way back whence you came. Herein lies the power of electronic commerce and its websites. Instead of doing this tedious routine day in day out, we could hop on our phone, browse for nearby shops and restaurants with delivery, and order everything you need. Unlike the physical stores where waiting for hours in long queues is a norm, e-commerce gives people the ease of access to any store located across any part of the globe at any point of time with absolutely no waiting time involved. This takes your business far and wide, cutting off all geographic barriers, connecting you to people around the world and exploring a vast number of business opportunities in a wider market. The next advantage of e-commerce is eliminating costs. With physical stores, investment is required, which might be in the form of rent or for maintenance, etc. Your store is open 24/7 when it is online, unless you decide to wind up your business. This again makes it possible for the people across all geographic locations to shop as and when required with no restrictions on time as with the physical store. They have to wait until the shop is open and the shopping is restricted to locals, expanding the store beyond various geographic locations. In case of a physical store, stays a dream forever. There again, we are cutting off manual or labor costs, as you do not need salespeople pitching the products to customers. Yet another advantage of e-commerce is digital goods shopping. When it comes to digital goods, consumers can easily access their favorite videos, albums or books. Also, the store can hold any number of copies. Inventory storage space. An online store can accommodate any number of items, unlike the physical store where there are inventory storage space limitations. There might be minor challenges such as logistics as people from all over the world start reaching out, but this can be dealt with by choosing the right kind of third-party service providers for logistics. You can always keep your consumers updated regarding what your business is up to. In fact, the contact information that is acquired in the form of email makes it easier to send automatic customized emails. The metrics used by these e-commerce stores make it easy to customize the store, integrating cookies and other techniques that will help in monitoring behavior of users. Another advantage includes ease of procurement. Procurement is now hassle-free, transparent, cheaper and faster as B2B e-commerce systems are being enhanced. The risk of handling cash or currency is eliminated with no accounting errors. You can now sell low volume goods and also track logistics, which will finally help in the growth of your e-commerce business. Unlike the traditional retail that majorly revolves around just the fast moving goods, e-commerce can accommodate even out-of-date products. Yet another important advantage of e-commerce is 24 hours in 7 days access. One of the benefits of e-commerce is that it always open for business. With a global reach comes a global access. Business can be operated and managed all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all year long. In turn, as you can get orders faster, you enjoy faster transactions, which is a true win-win situation. All these advantages mostly pertain to a typical consumer. If you are a wise business person, it will not take you a long time to see all of these benefits as an opportunity to expand your empire. Once again, e-commerce is global. There is no possible wider audience, at least for the moment. So far, we have discussed about the advantages of e-commerce. Now, let us see about the disadvantages of e-commerce. Physical retail is more popular. The bitter truth is that despite the growing popularity of e-commerce and increased online sales over the last decade, physical retail still owns the major market share. According to research, consumers spend most of their money in stores and the majority of online spending was done within non-retail stores. Of course, for any business, having an online store is important, but the money earned by a physical store is higher than the earned by any e-commerce store. Need for internet access. This is pretty obvious, but customers do need internet access before they can make a purchase. Since many e-commerce platforms have features and functionalities that require high-speed internet access for an optimal customer experience, there's a chance of excluding visitors who have slow connections. Lack of personal touch. Some consumers value the personal touch they get from visiting a physical store and interacting with sales associates. Such personal touch is particularly important for businesses selling high-end products, as customers not only want to buy the merchandise but also have a great experience during the process. Lack of tactile experience. No matter how well a video is made, consumers still can't touch and feel a product. Not to mention, it is not an easy feat to deliver a brand experience which could often include the sense of touch, smell, taste and sound through the two-dimensionality of a screen. The next important disadvantage is site crashes. No sales will happen if an e-commerce website crashes. Unless the website is hosted on the right platform, chances of crashing are high. Sometimes a surge in traffic can increase risks of a site crash. High competition is yet another disadvantage of e-commerce. Sometimes people fail to choose the right niche for their e-commerce business. And with the best niches, competition is high and people choose only the best. So, for a competitive niche, costs are higher as a considerable investment is needed for ads. Shipping efficiency. Shipping times are the worst challenges that e-commerce stores happen to face. When it comes to a physical store, the buyer can straightaway carry the product home. But with e-commerce, there is a waiting time involved until they get the product shipped. Certain online stores provide shipping within a day, but still there are several e-commerce businesses that haven't developed that far. Also, while it might not be a direct disadvantage of e-commerce, the delivery of certain products is at the moment cost inefficient. Trying before purchase. Even though e-commerce offers a lot more information about a product or a service than traditional retail, it does not allow you to experience it before buying. By now, some of the online stores have found a permanent solution to this concern, but others are yet to find. Augmented reality is now making it easier to add augmented reality elements to their store, which will provide provision for customers to try products. So now, moving forward, it will not only become a challenge, customers can easily try their favorite products and then choose which fits their requirement the best. But this will have to wait till every e-commerce business integrates augmented reality into their store. Yet another important disadvantage of e-commerce is security issues. More and more businesses and organizations have fallen prey to malicious hackers who have stolen customer information from their database. Not only could this have legal and financial implications, but also lessen the trust customers have in the company. Another disadvantage that we often see pop up here and there is credit card fraud. It can lead to chargebacks that result in the loss of revenue, penalties, and bad reputation. Complexity in taxation regulations and compliance is also a disadvantage of e-commerce. If an online business sells to customers in different territories, they'll have to adhere to regulations not only in their own states and countries, but also in their customers' place of residence. This could create a lot of complexities in accounting, compliance, and taxation. When making purchases, the buyer is aware of product costs, shipping, handling, and possible taxes. But there are many hidden costs that won't show up on the bill but will show up during payment. Extra handling price in case of international purchase is an example for hidden prices. Now we will see about the benefits of e-commerce to society. We have reached a point where we can't deny the apparent benefits that e-commerce has over retail. But who does it actually benefit? The seller, customers, or both? Many times we have heard e-commerce being labeled as a job killer, but how much of it is true remains yet to be seen. Job opportunities. While the 20th century was marked by constant growth of factory workers, this era is making those same workers slowly obsolete. It is a hard truth to accept, we know, but there is a light at the end of that rabbit hole. E-commerce is a job provider period. As an example, Amazon is employing over 300,000 people at the moment of writing. Not only that, but they have reached that number in record time. Digital companies are expanding all over the world. It is not just the USA, but the whole world too. China's growth in 2016 was even more impressive, surpassing the retail growth by twice as much according to ECN. Instant information is also a benefit of e-commerce to the society. Having information in the palm of your hand is another great example of the benefits of e-commerce to the society. People are able to access information even on the go, which further simplifies and hastens the shopping experience. Want a boat? No problem. A quick Google search reveals all the information you will need as an amateur fisher person. It's mind-boggling to think that a whole library of information is in our hands. Online education is an important benefit of e-commerce. Thanks to the rate of growth in e-commerce, students today can acquire knowledge in seconds. Completing assignments was never easy, and if you thought for a second that it would lead to less educated population, simply go back a step and reflect upon your decade's motto. The global competition is harsh and numerous. However, the reach is still so wide that it easily compensates for a growing concurrency among the students. The virtual classrooms bring another layer to this advantage. With the anonymity that comes with internet, every student gets equal exposure and opportunity no matter the age, gender, hair color and so on of the student. E-commerce and environment. The next benefit of e-commerce to the society is with its environment. The user of few papers and less traffic amounts to a healthy dose of air. Lessening the global warming has got to be the number one benefit of e-commerce to the society. Since we can do so much through internet nowadays, there isn't any more a high demand for traveling to acquire everything we want. Since this leads to less traffic logically leads to less air pollution. The age of entertainment. The ability to download and play seemingly countless number of songs, books, video games, TV shows is another one of the gifts of e-commerce. Thanks to e-commerce, the entertainment industry has greatly expanded globally over the last decade. Now, as concluding remarks, we can see that on whichever end of the spectrum you might find yourself, be it as a consumer, business or a provider of services, this age of popping digital trends and technological advantages is very exciting. Buy and sell, trade and barter, there are no limits to what you can do when your audience takes up a whole planet. E-commerce is not just a fad, it is the future and the consequence of the aforementioned technological advantages. As a consumer, you get to pick what you want or need in whichever color, shape or size you desire. As business, you get to target a global audience and to let customers speak for your quality honestly. Traditional retail will not perish, at least not soon. It has its purpose, charms and advantages. In some cases, it is more cost effective, while in others it fails. Even though e-commerce and retail are often contrasted, it does not mean you only have either or choice. Thank you.